22 Profound Stories. The more you compare, the more you lose. Greetings, dear friends. Life is an infinite equation. While some people calculate gains and losses, the universe has its own way of balancing things. When we live with generosity and contribution, what we receive will always far exceed what we give. Forgiveness and kindness are the keys that unlock the door to success, happiness, and peace of mind. Let us delve into these meaningful stories to understand this truth. The less we compare and compete, the more peace we gain, and each step in life becomes lighter, leading us toward serenity and freedom. Join us to explore and reflect on these insightful tales. Story 1. The more you compare, the more you lose. Many people believe that wisdom and calculation are the paths to wealth. However, when you become overly focused on comparison, what you lose may be priceless. True wealth is not measured by the money you possess, but by the peace of your soul and the simplicity of a forgiving heart. There was once a man fortunate enough to own a large, beautiful pearl. Yet, the pearl had a small blemish that dissatisfied him. Desiring perfection, he decided to shave off the surface to remove the flaw. Strangely, no matter how much he shaved, the blemish remained. He kept removing layer after layer until the pearl was flawless, and until it was gone. Life is inherently a balance of gains and losses. No one wins all the time, and no one loses forever. Some blessings come not because of skill, but because destiny grants them. But if you obsess over comparisons, you will lose the joy and meaning of what you already have. In life, win by being generous and lose by letting go of petty calculations. A narrow heart magnifies small matters, while a generous heart minimizes even great ones. This world is fair, every effort yields results. Live generously, and the outcomes will never disappoint you. Story 2. Envy and Jealousy, a Lifetime of Misery. If you cannot accept others living better than you, the first person to suffer is yourself. Conversely, those who genuinely wish well for others will receive fitting rewards from destiny. Anyone who has gone crabbing knows, if you put a single crab in a basket, you must cover it, as it will easily climb out. However, when there are multiple crabs in the basket, there is no need for a lid. Why? When one crab tries to climb out, the others pull it down. In the end, none of them escape. This crab mentality illustrates jealousy, being unable to rise oneself, but unwilling to let others succeed either. Those at lower levels of life often compare and envy, unwilling to see others do better. They drag others down to satisfy their own weakness and vanity. But ultimately, they only narrow their own path. The envy. A man lived harmoniously with his neighbor until a minor disagreement caused them to grow distant. One day, the man met a deity. The deity said, "I can grant you any wish, but your neighbor will receive double." The man thought, "If I wish for a house, my neighbor will get 2 houses. If I wish for 100 million, he will get 200 million. How can I live better than him?" After much thought, he said, "I wish to lose one eye." Envy is a blade that not only hurts others, but also destroys oneself. Conversely, those who sincerely wish good for others will receive blessings from fate. Heaven and Hell. A young man asked God, "What is the difference between heaven and hell?" God smiled and showed him. In hell, people sat around a large pot of soup, each holding a long-handled spoon. But because the spoons were too long, they couldn't feed themselves. They were starving, emaciated, and miserable. In heaven, the scene was the same, a large pot of soup and long-handled spoons. But here, people used their spoons to feed one another. Everyone was well-fed, happy, and full of life. The wise understand that helping others is the greatest act of self-fulfillment. Among people, only by supporting one another can we all progress further together. Jealousy and competition only bring unhappiness. Those with kind hearts, who find joy in others' happiness, are truly wise. Let go of envy, live generously, and uplift others. When you bring love into the world, your life will be filled with love in return. Story 3: Letting go is the greatest blessing. There's a beautiful saying often shared online: our heart is a path. If the heart is open, the path will be open. If the heart is burdened, the path will be burdened. People are often unhappy not because they receive too little, but because they compare too much. Peace, joy, and love in life cannot be obtained through calculations and competitions. Instead of getting lost in trivial matters, it's better to open your heart, relax your mind, and look beyond. A young disciple was once bitten by a dog while retrieving something. After being treated, he grabbed a long stick to find the dog and teach it a lesson. The master saw him and asked, "Does your wound still hurt?" "No, master, it doesn't hurt anymore." "If it doesn't hurt anymore, then why do you want to hit the dog?" "Because it bit me, so I want to retaliate." The master smiled and said, "Do you know why a lion never fights with a dog?" The boy shook his head in confusion. "Because not everyone is worthy of being a lion's opponent. Defeating a dog is no honor, and being bitten by one is merely bad luck. The best state of life is one without comparisons or resentment. When you let go of petty grievances, your heart will expand, and your path will become clearer. If you allow small matters to disturb your mind, you waste time and energy, making it impossible to go far. Treat others with kindness and tolerance, and you will accumulate blessings and attract more good fortune in life. A heart that grows a step wider makes the path a mile broader. Don't waste energy on people or situations that don't deserve it. Instead, cherish what you have and focus on the life you aspire to create. Story 4: Repeated rumors are easily believed. There is an old saying, 3 men make a tiger, meaning that if 3 people insist there is a tiger, others will begin to believe it. A repeated rumor, no matter how baseless, can cloud judgment and lead to blind faith. The story of Bang Thong. During the Warring States period, the king of Wei decided to send his crown prince as a hostage to the capital of Zhao to strengthen their alliance. He appointed his favorite official, Bang Thong, to accompany the prince. Before leaving, Bang Thong, fearing that others might slander him in his absence, approached the king and asked, "Your Majesty, if someone were to tell you there was a tiger in the marketplace, would you believe it?" The king replied, "Of course not. There can't be a tiger in the market." Bang Thong continued, "What if 2 people told you the same thing?" The king paused before saying, "I might be half believing, half doubting." Bang Thong asked again, "What if 3 people claimed there was a tiger in the market?" The king nodded, "If 3 people said so, I would believe it." Bang Thong then said, "Your Majesty, it's clear there is no tiger in the market, but if enough people say so, even you might believe it. Now that I must leave the country, far away from your court, the number of people spreading slander about me will exceed 3. I hope your Majesty will remain clear-minded and not be swayed by baseless rumors." The king reassured him, "Don't worry, I will judge everything fairly." However, after Bang Thong left, many began to slander him before the king. At first, the king ignored the rumors, but as they grew in number, he began to waver. By the time Bang Thong and the crown prince returned, the king had grown distant and refused to see him, no longer trusting or employing him. Repeated rumors can obscure the truth, causing significant damage to trust and a person's reputation. Those who spread rumors not only harm others, but also create bad karma for themselves. Before speaking, always ask yourself 3 things. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? If your words fail to meet these criteria, it is better to remain silent to avoid unnecessary harm and trouble. When hearing any information, verify the facts and avoid blindly believing it just because many people say so. The wise exercise discretion in their speech, refraining from spreading falsehoods and resisting the herd mentality. Words hold invisible power. They can build someone up or tear them down. Use your words carefully, as they reflect your wisdom and accumulate blessings for yourself. Live truthfully, speak kindly, and stay discerning in the face of rumors. Story 5. A wolf's glance back always has a reason. The tale of Bai Mao, a young wolf adopted by a farmer, teaches a profound lesson about loyalty and the bond between humans and animals. One day, Lu, a farmer gathering herbs in the forest, discovered a wolf mother lying dead in a cave. Left behind was her pup, staring at him with tearful eyes. Moved with compassion, Lu decided to take the wolf pup home and named him Bai Mao. Bai Mao grew quickly, becoming intelligent and loyal. Despite warnings from others to kill the wolf, claiming wolves could never be trusted, Lu kept him, treating him as part of the family. However, when anti-wolf campaigns spread through the region, Lu was forced to release Bai Mao back into the wild. On their parting day, Bai Mao looked back 3 times, reluctant to leave his adoptive family. 3 years later, Lu found himself pursued by a pack of wolves while gathering herbs. Climbing a tree for safety, he noticed a peculiar wolf in the pack, known as a bay, a hybrid creature between a wolf and a fox. The bay, cunning and treacherous, was the pack's advisor. Just when Lu thought there was no escape, another wolf pack appeared, led by a large black wolf with a distinctive white tuft of fur on its head. It was Bai Mao. Recognizing his old caretaker's call, Bai Mao sprang into action, leading his pack to battle the attacking wolves. Despite severe injuries, Bai Mao fought fiercely against the bay and its followers, protecting the man who had once saved him. Under Lu's guidance, Bai Mao managed to kill the bay, causing the enemy pack to scatter. Though victorious, Bai Mao and his pack were left wounded. Before retreating into the forest, Bai Mao howled long and loud, a farewell and a gesture of gratitude toward his adoptive father. Lessons from Bai Mao's story. Loyalty knows no boundaries. Wolves are often seen as ferocious, but Bai Mao demonstrated profound loyalty and gratitude, proving that even the wildest creatures can embody noble traits. Kindness is always repaid. Lu saved Bai Mao's life, and when the time came, Bai Mao returned the favor, risking his life to protect his benefactor. True bonds withstand challenges. Though sent back to the wild, Bai Mao never forgot Lu's kindness, bravely facing danger to defend the man who raised him. Brotherhood means standing together in adversity. Bai Mao's pack, though outnumbered and injured, fought valiantly alongside him, standing together against stronger foes. The story ends with Bai Mao retreating into the forest with his pack, leaving Lu deeply moved and forever grateful. A wolf's glance back always has a reason, and in Bai Mao's case, it was loyalty, a quality we may not expect to find in creatures often labeled as fierce and ruthless. Story 6. The kind-hearted are the happiest people. Long ago, there was a wealthy yet deeply kind-hearted old man. He used most of his fortune to help the poor, the sick, and those in unfortunate circumstances. His generosity earned him the gratitude and respect of many, and his reputation spread not only across the country but also to neighboring lands. His virtuous deeds eventually reached the heavens. A celestial being, who had once been a virtuous person in life, grew envious of the old man. Fearing that the old man's good karma would surpass his own and diminish his blessings in heaven, the celestial being decided to stop him from continuing his charitable work. Disguising himself as an ordinary man, the celestial being approached the old man and tried to persuade him to stop helping others. He said, "You have given away so much of your wealth. Aren't you afraid that one day you'll have nothing left for your children and grandchildren? Save your fortune for your family, or you will lose everything." The old man smiled and replied, "The wealth that exists under heaven belongs to all people. Hoarding it selfishly is shameful. I find joy in sharing with those in need." The celestial being continued, "People who do good like you will eventually end up in hell." The old man was surprised, but remained steadfast. Unable to sway him, the celestial being created an illusion of hell and took the old man to see it. In the illusion, the old man saw tormented souls suffering in hell. The celestial being said, "These are people who performed good deeds. Helping others led them here." The old man approached one of the souls and asked why they had been condemned to hell. The soul replied, "I helped others during my life and was sent here, while those I helped ascended to heaven." Hearing this, the old man laughed joyfully and said, "If I can help others reach heaven, even if it means I go to hell, I am happy. That is my greatest wish." The old man's sincere response moved the celestial being to tears. He admitted that his actions were motivated by envy. The illusion of hell disappeared, and the celestial being revealed his true form, saying, "Your kindness is truly admirable. You have reached the highest level of virtue, living selflessly for the benefit of others. This will bring you great blessings." Kindness has the power to transform both people and the heavens. When we help others, we not only ease their suffering but also bring joy and meaning to our own lives. As long as we hold on to kindness, there is always an opportunity to turn around and find the right path. A compassionate heart can dissolve all hatred, clear misunderstandings, and bring peace to the world. Story 7. What brings the greatest joy in life? In life, many people fail to find happiness or delight, not because they are poor, but because they do not understand the root of true joy. Lu Shang, the son of Emperor Guangwu of Han, founder of the Eastern Han Dynasty, was renowned for his broad knowledge, exceptional talent, humility, and simplicity. Despite holding a high position in the imperial court, he lived frugally and cared deeply about the well-being of the people. He often advised the emperor to implement policies that benefited the common people. His sincerity and dedication earned him increasing respect and admiration. However, this made Lu Shang uneasy, and he repeatedly requested to resign and return to his fiefdom. One day, Emperor Ming of Han asked Lu Shang, "What brings the greatest joy in life?" Lu Shang replied, "Virtuous deeds and living virtuously bring the greatest joy." He emphasized that doing good deeds and helping others is the root of true joy. Helping others brings peace and openness to the soul. Kind thoughts foster good health and a positive spirit. A glance of encouragement or a timely word can transform someone's life. This wisdom was not unique to Lu Shang. The Qiao family, a renowned merchant lineage, also adopted the phrase "virtuous deeds bring the greatest joy" as their family motto. For over 200 years, the Qiao family sustained prosperity by upholding the principles of virtuous living and charitable deeds. One does not need wealth to do good. Even someone struggling financially can practice kindness, a timely word of encouragement, a small act of goodwill from the heart. Psychologists have observed that people who regularly perform good deeds naturally feel happier, more positive, and optimistic about life. Ancient beliefs also affirm that the highest form of virtue lies in nurturing inner morality, adhering to principles, and living by noble standards. Practicing kindness not only helps others but also transforms oneself. A compassionate heart that empathizes with others brings the truest form of happiness. Good deeds do not only change the lives of others but also bring endless joy and peace to the one who performs them. Story 8. Life in the Glass Jar. One day, a teacher walked into the classroom carrying an empty glass jar and 3 bags containing different materials: large rocks, small pebbles, and fine sand. Beside them was a small jug of water. The teacher began placing the large rocks into the jar, one by one, until they reached the rim. Then, he asked the class, "Do you think the jar is full now?" The students replied in unison, "Yes, it's full." Smiling, the teacher then poured the small pebbles into the jar. With a gentle shake, the pebbles settled into the gaps between the large rocks. He asked again, "Is the jar full now?" The class responded, "Yes, now it's full." Next, the teacher poured the fine sand into the jar. The sand trickled into the remaining tiny spaces, filling every gap between the rocks and pebbles. He asked, "And now, is it full?" The students eagerly answered, "Yes, now it's definitely full." But the teacher wasn't done yet. He picked up the jug of water and slowly poured it into the jar. The water seeped through the sand, pebbles, and rocks, finally reaching the top. The teacher smiled and said, "This jar represents your life." The large rocks symbolize the most important things: your family, health, and core values, things that are irreplaceable. If you don't put them in first, there will be no room for them later. The small pebbles represent personal interests, friends, and other relationships. These are important, but not as critical. If you focus only on them, you'll miss the bigger values in life. The fine sand represents the trivial things: social media, fleeting pleasures, and minor distractions. These can easily creep in and fill every gap if you're not careful, leaving no room for the bigger priorities. Finally, the water symbolizes the small, simple joys of life: a smile, sunshine, or a gentle breeze. No matter how busy life gets, there's always room for these little moments if you know how to embrace them. If we were to fill the jar with sand first, there would be no room for the rocks or pebbles. Similarly, if you fill your time with meaningless tasks, the truly valuable things in life will be forgotten. Life isn't about rushing to save time, but about using your time meaningfully. What are the big rocks in your life? Make sure to put them in first. Don't waste your time on trivialities. Prioritize what truly matters. Story 9: Taking a Snail for a Walk. One day, God gave me a strange task: to take a snail for a walk. I couldn't understand why I was assigned this task. Snails are unbearably slow, inching forward little by little. I tried everything to speed it up, urging, scolding, even threatening it. But no matter what I did, the snail continued its slow crawl, occasionally looking at me with apologetic eyes, as if to say, "I'm trying my best." But I wasn't satisfied. I grew angry, wanting to pull, push, or even kick it to make it move faster. The snail, sweating and panting, tried to keep up with me, but it was injured by my impatience. Frustrated, I began to question why God had given me such a difficult task. But he remained silent. I thought about giving up, abandoning the snail altogether. Yet the snail, though slow, continued to crawl forward with all its might. One day, during one of our walks, I suddenly caught a whiff of a fragrant aroma. Looking around, I realized we were surrounded by a vibrant, colorful garden. A cool breeze brushed against my face, and I heard birds chirping and insects buzzing in the grass. I looked up to see a sky filled with twinkling stars. It was then that I finally understood: God didn't assign me this task to make the snail keep up with my pace, but to teach me to enjoy the journey. Instead of criticizing and rushing the snail, I needed to walk alongside it, appreciating the beauty along the way. But I had wasted so much time being angry and impatient, missing out on the wonders of life. Raising children is much like taking a snail for a walk. You cannot force children to run as fast as adults, nor should you impose comparisons with others. Instead, you must slow down, listen to them, and savor the small but meaningful moments together. Life isn't a sprint but a long marathon. The goal isn't to move the fastest, but to persist and endure until the end of the journey. Let children explore and learn in their own way rather than forcing them into a mold you've set. Don't turn parenting into a nightmare of constant worry for parents and overwhelming pressure for children. Avoid comparing your child to others. Every child develops at their own pace, with unique strengths and personalities. Embrace and nurture their best qualities. Be patient, understanding, and compassionate. Parenting isn't a fast track, it's a long process requiring love and patience. Don't turn your child into a crying snail. Allow them the freedom to learn, discover, and grow naturally. Finally, just as you might take a snail for a walk, treasure every moment of the parenting journey. Don't let impatience and pressure rob you of the beauty along the way. Story 10. The breadth of your heart determines your destiny. There is a story about a boy and a girl playing together. The boy had many beautiful stones, while the girl had lots of sweet candies. The boy, wanting to eat the candies, suggested exchanging all of his stones for all of her candies. The girl agreed immediately and willingly gave up all her candies without hesitation or checking them. However, before handing over his stones, the boy secretly kept the largest and most beautiful one for himself, then gave the rest to the girl. The girl, true to her word, gave all her candies to the boy and happily went home. That night, the girl slept soundly, completely at ease. But the boy couldn't sleep. He kept tossing and turning, wondering, did she, like me, keep her best candy for herself? This story illustrates a common truth in life. We often use our own hearts to judge others. When we are dishonest, we assume others are dishonest too. When we are calculating, we think others are calculating as well. The boy couldn't find peace, not because the girl kept her best candy, but because he had hidden his best stone. People often live with a mindset of gain and loss, constantly calculating the pros and cons in relationships and work. We weigh what's worth it and what's not. Sometimes, for small, trivial benefits, we sacrifice our inner peace. But the truth is, what you give will come back to you. When you are generous and sincere, you receive trust and love from others. Conversely, if you are always calculating and suspicious, you will be left with insecurity and a sense of lack. Open your heart, live sincerely, and be forgiving. Doing so will not only make you a better person, but also bring you peace and happiness in life. Story 11. The Old Well. An old well that once held sweet water had now run dry. Overcome by thirst, it pleaded with a passing goose, "Please, bring me some water. Even just a drop will do." The goose, recalling the lush greens it had once eaten that were nourished by the well's water, agreed to help. But upon reaching the pond, it became distracted by friends and forgot the well's plea. Desperate, the old well called out to a green frog. The frog quickly agreed to help, but when it reached the riverbank, it too forgot about the well, lost in the cool waters. In despair, the old well spotted a small injured bird resting nearby. The bird, moved by the well's plight, couldn't bear to see it suffer. Despite its wounds, the bird flew to the river, soaked its feathers in water, and returned to the well with a few drops. The little bird didn't know how long it had flown. It only focused on bringing water to the well. With the last drop, the well was miraculously revived, its clear water flowing again. But the small bird, weakened by its injuries, could no longer take to the sky. Soon, the goose and the frog returned. Seeing the lifeless bird beside the well, they complained, "How inconvenient. It's polluting the fresh air here even in death." The old well sighed, mourning the loss of the little bird. At the same time, it realized who its true friend was. When you are successful, many will surround you. But only in times of failure or hardship will you discover who truly stands by you. A true friend is not someone who merely cheers for you in good times, but someone willing to lift you when you stumble. In difficult moments, genuine friendship shines. As the saying goes, adversity reveals true friendship. In prosperity, friends may be plentiful, but in hardship, only true companions remain. Life is ever-changing, but sincerity endures. When facing challenges, remember who stands by your side without calculation. Sincerity is the most valuable quality in any relationship. Story 12, A Lesson in Compassion. Van and her mother were walking down the street when they encountered an old beggar. Frail and ragged, he stretched out his trembling hands asking for money. The mother reached into her wallet to give him some change, but Van stopped her sharply, saying, "Don't waste your sympathy, Mom. He's probably a scammer." The mother didn't argue but gently replied, "What you said might be true. However, in life, alongside bad things, there are also good things. Why not consider that this old man might genuinely be in need? To me, a few coins mean very little, but to him, it could be a full meal. Even if our kindness is taken advantage of, we lose nothing. And who knows, perhaps we've done something meaningful to make the world a little better." Van didn't respond but remained unconvinced. The next day, when they went to the market, Van brought a scale to check the weight of her purchases. At the vegetable stall, she picked through the greens, tossing them about before selecting a bunch and leaving the pile in disarray. She dropped her money on the counter without even a kind word. Arriving at the fish stall, the little girl sneered at the stall owner, took out her scale, and coldly said, "I'm weighing it. If you trick me, there will be trouble." Arriving at the fruit stall, a little girl in a tattered raincoat begged them to buy the remaining apples so they could go home early. Van indifferently replied, "Sell them cheap, I'll buy them. If not, you can stand here all night." The little girl reluctantly sold the apples at a loss, lamenting her bad luck as she packed them up. The mother, feeling sorry for her, tried to give the girl a little extra money, but Van snapped, "Money doesn't grow on trees, Mom. Don't waste it." The mother looked at her daughter, sadness in her eyes, but said nothing. She thought to herself, "You have closets full of clothes you bought on a whim and never wore. You leave meals unfinished just because the food doesn't suit your taste. You waste so much, yet you're stingy when it comes to helping those less fortunate." The mother had always treated everyone with kindness, whether they were merchants or beggars. She was willing to buy the apples, not because she needed them, but to bring a smile and a little warmth to someone else. She gently advised Van, "I hope that as you grow up, you will learn the lesson of compassion and love for others. When you give love, you will find peace and warmth in return. That is what makes life truly beautiful. This world isn't filled with only bad things, it also holds much goodness. Choose to live with compassion, because when you give love, you will receive happiness in return. By sharing love, you'll see how beautiful life can truly be." Story 13, Virtue is the most important measure. In life, virtue is not only the measure of a person's value but also the key to living happily and harmoniously with those around us. The Tai Tsong Tan once stated, "Do not blame others for minor faults, do not expose others' private matters, and do not dwell on their flaws." These words serve as a guide for living a peaceful and fulfilling life. 1. Forgiveness for others' mistakes. An old proverb says, "To err is human." In life, everyone makes mistakes. If we only focus on counting others' faults, it deepens conflicts and harms ourselves. Wise individuals choose forgiveness and let go. During the Song dynasty, Lu Mingjing, a high-ranking official, was publicly belittled by another official who mockingly said, "This boy also dares to discuss state affairs?" Rather than retaliate, Lu Mingjing calmly replied, "If I knew who said that, I would remember them for life. Isn't it better not to know at all?" His words impressed everyone with his generosity. Wise individuals understand that holding onto others' mistakes only weighs down their hearts. 2. Keeping others' secrets. Silence is wisdom. An old saying advises, "Keep your words sealed like a jar," emphasizing the importance of discretion. Revealing others' private matters not only causes harm but also erodes trust in relationships. During the Northern Song dynasty, Chancellor Fu Bai had disagreements with Wang Unxi over government reforms. Despite their opposing views, Fu Bai never publicly criticized Wang, even after retiring. Fu Bai's silence demonstrated his high moral character, prioritizing the greater good over personal feelings and refraining from hurting others with his words. 3. Letting go of past wrongs. Forgiveness brings happiness. People with forgiving hearts do not cling to negativity from the past. To live peacefully, let go of resentment and focus on the good. Lady Bian, wife of Cao Cao, was once scorned and mistreated by Lady Ding, Cao Cao's first wife. However, when Lady Ding fell from favor, Lady Bian harbored no resentment. Instead, she frequently visited and supported her. When Lady Ding passed away, Lady Bian requested that Cao Cao arrange a respectful funeral for her. Lady Bian's magnanimity earned her widespread admiration. Do not blame others for trivial mistakes. Forgiveness is the key to harmony and happiness. Avoid discussing others' private matters or flaws. Timely silence reflects wisdom and virtue. Let go of old grievances and resentment. Forgiveness brings peace, not only to others but also to oneself. Virtuous individuals are open-hearted, compassionate, and consistently earn the trust and love of those around them. As the saying goes, silence is golden, tolerance is wisdom. Story 14, Lessons from Clouds in the Sky and Water in the Bottle. Mount Yushan, renowned for its sacred tranquility, was home to the Zen master Dui Niyam, who dedicated his life to the teachings of Zen Buddhism. Known for his simple lifestyle and profound wisdom, he attracted followers from far and wide. Lai Chao, a high-ranking official and nephew-in-law of the esteemed scholar Han Yu, was eager to meet the master and sought his guidance in person. Upon arriving, Lai Chao found the Zen master sitting beneath a pine tree, calmly reading scripture, seemingly indifferent to his guest's presence. Feeling slighted, Lai Chao indignantly remarked, "Your reputation precedes you, but it seems the reality falls short." Master Dui Niyam, unfazed, replied, "Why do you value your ears over your eyes? Are they not equally important?" This simple yet piercing response left Lai Chao deep in thought. The master then pointed to the sky, where clouds drifted serenely, and to a bottle of water on the ground. He said, "Clouds in the sky, water in the bottle." Confused, Lai Chao asked for clarification. The master patiently explained. The clouds in the sky and the water in the bottle both follow their natural state. The way is inherent in all things, and to understand it, one must perceive the simplicity of daily life. Everything flows naturally, and so should we. These words illuminated the complexities clouding Lai Chao's mind, awakening a newfound understanding. In gratitude, Lai Chao composed a poem honoring the master, featuring the renowned couplet, "Clouds in the sky, water in the bottle." This couplet continues to resonate with profound philosophical lessons. 1. Flow with nature. Clouds and water are different states of the same element. Clouds drift and water flows, each following its inherent nature without force or resistance. Similarly, humans should embrace life's flow without unnecessary striving or contention. 2. Equality in nature. The clouds above and the water below are equally integral to the universe, neither superior nor inferior. Humanity can learn from this harmony and treat one another with fairness and respect. 3. Impermanence and cycles. Clouds become water, and water returns to clouds, illustrating the unending cycles of transformation. Life, too, is a series of ever-changing phases, with joy and sorrow passing like the clouds and streams. Life is like the cyclical journey of clouds and water. Suffering gives way to happiness, and challenges are replaced by peace. Instead of clinging or despairing, we should live calmly, allowing events to unfold as they will. By aligning ourselves with nature, we cultivate a serene heart and a mind open to wisdom. Story 15. Don't hammer nails into someone's heart with words. There was a boy named Tom who lived with his father in a small town. Although Tom was intelligent, he had a quick temper and often made hurtful, sarcastic remarks to those around him. This behavior upset his neighbors, causing many to distance themselves from him. Tom's father, saddened by his son's actions, called him one day and gently advised, "You need to treat people kindly and avoid saying things that hurt others." He handed Tom a bag of nails and instructed, "Each time you act improperly or hurt someone, hammer a nail into the wooden fence in front of our house." Tom accepted the task. Before long, the fence was covered with nails. One day, after hammering the last nail, Tom joyfully ran to his father and exclaimed, "Dad, I've used all the nails." His father calmly replied, "Well done. Now, I want you to remove all the nails from the fence." Tom was surprised. "What? You told me to hammer them in." Although reluctant, Tom obeyed. Once he had removed every nail, he reported back to his father, "I've taken them all out." His father led him to the fence and said gently, "Look closely, son. The nails are gone, but the scars they left remain. It's the same with your words. Once you've hurt someone, the emotional scars remain, even if you apologize." Tom finally understood the lesson. He hugged his father and felt deep remorse. From that day on, Tom changed his ways, treating others with kindness. Over time, the neighbors grew to appreciate and admire him. The power of words. Language is a tool for connection, but it can also create barriers. A careless word can leave lasting wounds, difficult to heal. In Buddhist teachings, it's said, "To speak is to create karma." Words reflect not only a person's intellect and character, but also determine their blessings in life. Lessons on communication and emotions. Avoid speaking hurtful words in anger. Words said in anger are like flames that can destroy relationships. Acknowledge and correct mistakes. True strength lies in apologizing and improving not just actions, but also words. Empathy in speech. Don't force others to do what you wouldn't, and don't say what you wouldn't want to hear. Mind your words. Careless speech can create misunderstandings and hurt both yourself and others. Forgiveness is for you. Letting go of anger frees you from resentment and pain. In life, moments of frustration and anger are inevitable. However, remember, words are directed outward, but emotions are your own. Choose to speak with care, fostering kindness and understanding. Story 16. Understanding yourself is key to conquering the world. Ihara, a young man who started his career in the Japanese insurance industry, faced extreme hardships early on. He was so poor that he couldn't afford food and had to sleep in parks. Selling insurance was equally challenging. He was repeatedly rejected by potential clients. One day, overwhelmed by frustration and despair, Ihara sought out an elderly monk for advice. He poured out his woes, explaining how customers constantly turned him down and how he was unable to persuade anyone. The monk listened attentively, then calmly said, "When two people sit face to face, there must be a compelling presence that draws the other person in. Without this, you cannot expect any significant future success." Ihara was taken aback, feeling a cold sweat. The monk continued, "Young man, if you want to change the world around you, you must first change yourself. And to change yourself, you need to understand who you truly are. Do you really know who you are? Look at yourself honestly, without pretense or excuses. Only when you fully understand yourself can you begin to transform." The monk's words struck Ihara like a beam of light, opening a new perspective. He realized that the problem wasn't with others, it was within him. From that moment, Ihara embarked on a journey of self-discovery and self-improvement. He began to deeply analyze his flaws, harness his strengths, and refine his communication skills to build genuine relationships. Over time, Ihara rose to prominence as a master salesperson, renowned throughout Japan's insurance industry. His success serves as proof that only by understanding oneself can one conquer the world. The key to success is knowing yourself. We live with ourselves through all of life's highs and lows, yet rarely do we take a deep, honest look at who we are. To improve, we must have the courage to confront our flaws, amplify our strengths, and continuously learn and grow. Life isn't just about achieving external goals, it's a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. When you truly understand yourself, you'll know how to overcome any challenge life presents. Understanding yourself is the first step toward unlocking wisdom and strength. Story 17. Refusing to hear the truth is the greatest weakness. 10 years ago, fresh out of college, I worked as a manager at a small cafe. It was a side job I took to gain experience before pursuing a career in my field of study. My responsibilities included not just management, but also learning how to make coffee and handling the day-to-day operations. The cafe was owned by a high school friend of my older brother. Despite my efforts to do my best as a manager, the owner didn't seem to value me as much as the part-time student workers. When I reported issues such as staff arriving late or casually using the cafe's supplies, he would brush it off with a laugh. They need a relaxed work environment. As long as they're happy with me, it's fine. Feeling helpless, I continued fulfilling my duties until I eventually decided to resign after a few months, having learned the necessary skills. Later, I heard from my brother that the cafe had hired a recent foreign trade university graduate as a full-time manager. Initially, the owner trusted this new manager because of her polished demeanor and educational background. However, after some time, she quit, citing the need to return home to care for her parents. The owner paid little attention, but when reviewing sales records, he noticed a sharp decline in revenue shortly before recovering after her departure. Upon checking the security cameras, he discovered that the manager had been falsifying orders, pocketing money, and taking supplies. Her charm and smooth words had masked her actions. Not long after, I learned that the owner had to sell the cafe due to poor business performance. A more significant reason was that his wife, who owned the cafe, had filed for divorce. It turned out that he had relied entirely on his wealthy wife and didn't understand how to manage a business effectively. The truth may be hard to hear, but it's the foundation for improvement and growth. Living in an environment of flattery and falsehoods not only blinds you to reality but also prevents you from addressing critical issues. True progress comes from embracing honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. Story 18. Kindness is about caring for others. The ancients once taught, Handle the affairs of others as carefully as you would your own. Think deeply, and do not treat things carelessly just because they don't concern you. Cheng Tang, the founding king of the Shang dynasty, was a shining example of kindness and virtue. Once, he saw a hunter setting nets on all sides to trap forest animals. King Cheng Tang commanded, "Remove 3 sides of the net and leave only one. Let only the creatures that truly deserve to be caught fall into the trap." He cared not only for people but also respected the lives of all living beings. His compassionate heart earned him great admiration and reverence. Truly kind people care for others not only through words but also through their actions, even in the smallest details of life. Yet, not everyone achieves this. We often see things only from our perspective. While driving, we feel annoyed by pedestrians. While walking, we grow frustrated with traffic. As employees, we think the boss cares only about profits. As bosses, we blame employees for lacking responsibility. When we view the world solely through our lens, conflicts and disharmony arise. But when we shift our perspective and put ourselves in others' shoes, we begin to see the goodness we once overlooked. In the book The Weakness of Human Nature, there's a powerful statement. A person who thinks only of themselves is hopeless. No matter how knowledgeable, they lack true cultivation. A truly empathetic person carries a fresh spring within their heart. Wherever they go, their kindness spreads like a gentle breeze, warming the souls around them. The true nobility of a person doesn't lie in their status, wealth, or education, but in their empathy for others, their self-awareness and compassion. These qualities aren't displayed outwardly but are reflected through small actions in everyday life. Story 19. Why disliking the truth is a failure. Once upon a time, truth and lies went bathing together in a river. Lies finished bathing first, put on truth's clothes, and left. When truth came ashore, realizing only lies' clothes were left, it refused to wear them. Therefore, truth has lived naked in the world ever since. People often say they hate lies and desire to know the truth. However, when confronted with the bare truth, they find it hard to accept. Instead, they easily believe sweetly wrapped lies. Speaking the truth often offends others, so fewer people dare to do so. Those who enjoy compliments, praise can sometimes be a tool to win favor rather than a true reflection of one's worth. Those who value truth, they need courage to face criticism but may become angry or resentful toward those who speak the truth. Such individuals often bring misery upon themselves. They will not have genuine friends. They are easily trapped in lies and live in a cycle of deceit. A famous saying goes, "The one who points out your flaws is your true friend." Someone who dares to tell you the truth might hurt your feelings, but they are the ones who help you improve. Conversely, those who only flatter you are often seeking your favor. A brave person is someone who accepts criticism and their shortcomings without feeling ashamed, identifies their weaknesses and is willing to change for the better, understands themselves, remaining unaffected by praise or criticism from others. Such individuals achieve inner freedom, are not manipulated by others, possess the intellect and willpower to overcome any challenge. Disliking the truth is a significant failure. Only by confronting the truth can we have the chance to correct ourselves and grow. Remember, compliments may be sweet, but they are not always sincere. Criticism may hurt, but it is a mirror that helps you see yourself clearly. Story 20. The 2 most important things. Perhaps in life, everyone has asked themselves, what is the most important thing? The answer is not simply material possessions or fame, but rather health and happiness. 1. Health, the most valuable treasure. Health is often taken for granted when we are well. Only when lying on a hospital bed do people realize that nothing is more important than a healthy body. Regardless of wealth or power, if one lacks health, everything else becomes meaningless. Remember, having health means having everything. A peaceful life, free of illness and disaster, is the greatest gift a person can have. 2. Happiness, the true value of life. Happiness doesn't reside in distant goals, it is found in the simplest of moments. A warm family meal. A glowing light waiting for you at home after a long day. The love between family members and the harmony within a household. Happiness is not something grand or far away. It lies in being content with what you have and cherishing every moment of your life. Do not trade your time and energy solely to chase glory or the approval of others. Live more slowly and savor the beauty of the moments around you. True happiness comes from inner peace and genuine relationships, not from money or status. Life is short, but if you live with a peaceful heart, gratitude, and optimism, every day will become more meaningful. Remember, health is the foundation of all happiness. Happiness is the greatest gift you can create for yourself. Keep your heart calm and at peace. No matter how difficult life may be, it will always be worth living. Story 21. 6 things not to compete for in life. 1. Do not compete with heaven and earth, be wise. Heaven and earth grant life and nurture all beings, thus, humans must respect nature and follow divine will. Competing with heaven and earth only leads to failure. Those who follow heavens will prosper, while those who defy it perish. This is an unchanging principle. Those who live in harmony with destiny will enjoy peace, avoiding pursuits of what is not theirs to claim. 2. Do not compete with parents, show filial piety. Parents are the ones who gave us life and raised us. Even in conflict, children must practice patience and respect. Words that hurt parents only deepen the rift and bring regret too late. Among all virtues, filial piety is foremost. Cherishing and caring for parents is the truest way to repay their sacrifice. 3. Do not compete with your spouse, practice understanding. Conflicts in marriage are inevitable, but arguments only disrupt harmony. Instead, choose tolerance, listening, and understanding. A spouse is not someone to compete with but a partner to share joys and hardships. A warm family thrives when both partners know how to yield and nurture the relationship. 4. Do not compete with relatives, maintain harmony. Family is the warmest haven but is also susceptible to conflicts over trivial matters. Among siblings, avoiding rivalry, sharing, and protecting one another fosters a joyful and harmonious family atmosphere. This also reflects filial piety toward parents. 5. Do not compete over interests with friends, be generous. Friendship should not be built on personal gain. Those who betray friends for money or benefits will lose everything. True friends support each other selflessly. A person with a generous heart, who values friendships over self-interest, will maintain lasting bonds. 6. Do not compete for fame with others, know yourself. Fame is fleeting and illusory, easily gained and lost. Those consumed by fame lose peace of mind. Wise individuals know how to self-reflect, avoiding blind pursuits of glory. They cherish what they have, paying little attention to gain or loss. In life, competition does not always yield benefits, it often brings unease to the soul. Practicing patience, generosity, and understanding reflects true wisdom. When we let go of competition and envy, our hearts become lighter, our minds more peaceful, and our lives much brighter.